Bo, trying to come at you on the real and meet you in a productive manner. And so, as it pertains to us as a people and how we would manage our lives better, we ought to tap into that potential that provides us the capacity to live in harmony and cooperate on really beneficial levels. Because when we're in tune as people understanding each other as citizens of Earth, family amongst one another, and capable of so much more, there's an opportunity that's presented that allows you access to sides to reality that are more supportive of us and protective, and this dismissive, excessive, ignorant behavior that has consumed us and become the default manner of living as a people is a disservice to the community and our legacy. So how might we reflect upon the moment with the gravity that it deserves? Because in these moments of our lives, experiencing human existence as a physical being that came to be on planet Earth, as we continue down our paths, experiencers of existence, making decisions, why don't we remark upon the beauty and understanding how we should appreciate things and how this trashiness is inexcusable behavior, and with how unsustainable our economies are. Very unhelpful as a continuing occurrence amongst us. All of these behaviors that serve the self and break apart the community at a spiritual level that has us in a funk. And this dysfunctional show, disgraceful show of our not us at our best. It is not cool to continue on these negligent paths. And that means showing up for each other in bigger ways and being more courageous. Because at the end of the day, what does it mean when we're actually living our lives with integrity? What does that look like? And how do we strike a balance? Well, it's, actually the case that we are intelligible enough to take on the challenge and various considerations as to whether we address certain things and how we secure our futures and help each other impose behaviors that are more respectful of our good fortune and the sanctity with which our options are available, because it's not everybody that got to see all of these amazing marvels. And the time is upon us to actually stand for something more than this decadent, indulgent, whatever continuance of ignorance and bullshit and a tragic continuation of our precious journeys that are as relevant as you can imagine as a physical being that is vulnerable in many ways and could use, every bit of help it could get. And, just take a gander at all of the things that we have. That array of amenities. How cool and helpful are those things? So, in maintaining that, our, existence and how we came to be is of massive importance and significance to our lives, how's about we actually admit to our concerns that acknowledge an awareness of these, considerations that we ought to make. Because there's very little actually standing in our way in communicating more effectively so as to help each other connect on levels that are more mature and conducive to benefiting us and supplying our recovery and catering to our needs. Because this stuff that's happening is a disgraceful development that's been occurring. And it's not cool to be so evil and ignorant as a relatively blessed citizen of Earth. I dare you to, to dream bigger and allow yourself the opportunity to operate within that space that's available to us when we're actually willing to admit these things that are happening. So as an occurrence and how we respond to it, and as we continue on our journeys, how's about we try to respond responsibly? Because it's something of a necessity to maintain societal norms, let's say, like the functioning of it all, to actually provide things. And as a consumerist society that has deep roots in like making use of so much, it's relevant and topical and something to consider when you like remark upon like our, you know, access to this array of amenities like hospitals, stores, restaurants, awesome stuff. And it's an amazing occurrence. And as amazing people that came to actually like cause these magnificent things to come into being, well, there happens to be something of a future ahead of us that is, you know, depending on us to, you know, listen harder and talk louder and, you know, help each other to be flexible in our approach to these, you know, detrimental circumstances that are a persistent problem, because that future can be one of you know, a helpful like influence and environment, but it only comes to be when we're you know, operating at, you know, in that capacity. And so however we might actually partake and, you know, join hands, open minds, and, you know, seeing with clear eyes and an open heart the potential that we have as a people when we hold that space and allow each other to be flexible in the moment and to support each other on a level that's more like considerate and really goes into like cherishing the, you know, complex, you know, event that is so insignificant. How we can change and help each other to be different. It's a possibility in that world of possibilities. And we really just need permission. We got to show up and toughen up and speak up and experiment. And there will come progress in the process, just as we witness in the workplace, where we're somehow capable of achieving goals of a lofty order despite our differences. And just in the way that we have, you know, attuned our, you know, efforts on like catering to these, you know, norms within society, there's nonetheless different ways of doing things and reasons why. And in the spirit of respecting reality for what it is and like seeing things clearly. There is a dignified human being that actually, stands for the future and comes at each other with some heart and in ways that are smart. Because we need each other, we want each other, and we really do. When we see these similarities and the ways in which we share an ancestry, that's a beautiful thing. And how we love to bear witness to this excess of many, many beautiful things. There are, different ways that we need to behave. And that's okay. We can say what we need to say, and we can actually, blaze a path forward and, seeing things in a different way. And being good examples as a consideration to make. So, how you continue on your way, I could only hope for the best. And in knowing what's in our best interest to some extent, I couldn't help but want to deliver a message as I might be able to communicate it, because it doesn't seem that a lot of people are, finding a, place to rest their understanding of what I'm saying on. It's like people just hear me but can't follow up with what ought to be said about these events. But that's the thing, I'm speaking from a place of stability and heart and mindfulness in the ways that I am developing a relationship with people, in my attempts to do that by channeling myself authentically and letting myself be free. It's allowing me that flexibility that we need. And so actually refrain from judging people and being so quick to develop feelings and whatever, man. In any case, I'm fucking out here, and people can sometimes be very nosy. And in any case, it would seem as much that one of the problems and things that are a thing that it's happening right now is that I somehow appear a little, I don't know, spacey, crazy, whatever you want to say about me. It's not it does not recognize my, peace bringing as a, person that, has peaceful intentions. How we choose to act means everything. So, in any case, enough of that bullshit, because I have some people chilling around here watching me and shit. And whatever that's about, we can only imagine. But in any case, I'm getting a little tired of it, you know what I'm saying? And so these fucking ways of interacting. We're gonna have to really, like, you know, take up the challenge to, you know, act like the part, I guess. Here's the part, though, is like actually acknowledging the truth and being, you know, more civil people. Well, what's your take on all that? I'm sorry that I'm so slow and, you know, verbose and keep things so complex. I'm trying my hardest to, you know, shine a light on all of these very important topics. So anyways, people think I'm fucked, I guess. Like, fucking staring at me and shit. So anyways, like, say what you want. Try to see me. Try to think, you know, clearly. And allow me that flexibility and yourself the grace to, like, the grace to actually grow. Damn. I gotta go. Trying my hardest. So why don't you guys try with me, please? Because, like, this fucking side to reality is deserving of our attention. And it's time to claim our power so we can actually do more. Stop, you know, selling ourselves short and actually, like, speak truth to power. So, excuse me if that's something of a strange thing to go at and hope to tackle, but that's something that's happening, and it's something that is a, you know, considerate thing to do. So consider that, won't you? And thank you. Help, you know, blessings on your journey. May peace be with you. And may peace be with me. How's about we fight for peace? Peace and love. Thank you.